Welcome back to the Youth Rise podcast, a platform dedicated to empowering youth voices through diverse topics of passion. I'm your host, Queenie Gong, and today we're diving deep into the topic of sustainability and civic engagement with our special guest, Lily YangLiu. Lily is a rising junior at Mulgrave School in Vancouver, Canada. Although she is only still a teenager, Lily has contributed immensely to her community and has shown a strong passion and understanding for sustainability and civic engagement amongst youth today. Join us as we discuss the full story of Lily's passion, how she got started, some projects she's working on, and tips she recommends others to begin their initiatives as well. So today I'm very excited to welcome Lily as one of our guest speakers for our topic about sustainability and civic engagement. So Lily, how about you first just give a quick introduction to our listeners, just share a little snippet of your life, hobbies, or other interesting things you'd like to share.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Lily. I'm a rising junior at Mulgrave School. So this year I'll be doing the IB. I'm super interested in civic engagement, political science, and sustainability. I've been doing social media since around 2020, so beginning of 2019, and it's my way up to the my community on the people refugees.
Amazing. So you told us that you're very interested in civic engagement. So how did you really become interested in this topic and what really made you become immersed in it?
Okay, so I might get a little bit political here, right? So I'm an immigrant from China, and back there's not as many opportunities to be engaged in the political system. Immigrating to Canada, I thought it was such an amazing opportunity to participate in our democracy because this is like the first time I'm afforded this opportunity. There's so many different things, so many aspects that politics can cover. So it allows me to be to explore all the things, to meet people, which is something I really love. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. For me too, I'm an immigrant as well, but I feel like I've never been really very political orientated. It's never been one of my passions, but it's amazing that you found this as one of your passions from also your background and from knowledge. So yeah, that sounds like an amazing thing. And so I'm really interested to understand what was the turning point in your life that kind of made you realize that you really wanted to get involved in making a difference? Was it in elementary school, high school, or when did you start beginning to make a difference within your community?
Okay. So I think it was around COVID. I think grade 7 or 8 that I got really bored because it's COVID, online school, nothing really to do. That's when I started doing social media, starting first teaching English, but then reaching out to politicians to interview them. I think that's when I realized there's such a barrier for youth for civic engagement, right? And that's when I decided I wanted to do something. I wanted to reach out to create a community. So yeah, I think around that time, but I've been definitely doing a lot more in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you as well. During COVID, I think everyone was a little bit bored about just staying cooped up at home all the time. And I think it's amazing that you found a passion through that and used your time very wisely. Because personally for me, I think I didn't really find anything to do during COVID, but that's amazing that you did that. So what specific activities did you do during COVID to engage within this topic?
In the beginning, social media was outlet, basically talking about my political interest of parties, introducing the parties to different audiences, and then as the platform became bigger, I got the opportunity to interview a few politicians, which was really cool. Ask them about youth engagement. So yeah, it was mostly on social media, but then I really like in person events too. Now that COVID's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And I'm very interested in understanding a bit more about this, but you did say that you kind of became engaged in the community because of your immigrant background, but is there a specific person or an activity that really inspired you to take action, or is it just because of your background that you decided to do this?
I think I credit a lot of my interest in politics to my dad. He's also super into politics. And I think when I was younger, he pushed me a lot to do my own research and to like figure out my own political belief, which is something I think is super valuable. So definitely him, he studied econ, so he was definitely leaning a lot more into the econ part of it. But I think I'm really interested in like sustainability, justice. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's amazing. I feel like it's a very diverse topic. You talked a bit about econ and politics, and I feel like sometimes people don't know that those things are kind of interconnected. So yeah, that's amazing. And so what kind of keeps you motivated to stay engaged in these activities? Because I feel like it's not a very well-known thing for youth to be very passionate about this topic, especially like in my high school. I feel like there's a lot of high school students who aren't very that passionate about these topics before. So how do you personally stay motivated within this realm, and especially when you're trying to battle like challenges and setbacks?
I think it's definitely the people, right? There's so many amazing people that I've met through engaging in different, political events, whether that be like the constituency assistants, the actual politicians, or I think most important of all, like other young people. They're so innovative and they're doing such amazing things to help the communities. I think that's what really keeps me motivated, which I honest to God, like they inspire me to like keep doing what I'm doing because dang, they're doing amazing things.
Oh,
And yeah.
okay, that's amazing. It sounds like there's a lot of collaboration involved with this as well. So I think it's a very important aspect in like not only civic engagement, but like a lot of other activities as well to have the skills to collaborate and communicate effectively. So how do you think your skills within those type of communication and collaboration skills, that how does that affect your involvement in the community? Do you think it has really helped you, like for example public speaking is also very important? Do you think because of your engagement within the community your skills in those areas have been really enhanced as well?
Yes, definitely. Collaboration is like I think one of the main pillars in doing successful events in like just participating in politics like at all because it's not like an individual process. There's so many parts of the team. So I think it definitely helps enhance my collaboration skills, whether it's like just meeting people, doing canvassing together or like doing events. I've met some incredible friends that I'm like, yeah, they're amazing people. So, engaging in politics has definitely helped me enhance my collaboration skills.
Mhm. Wow, that's great. I think like that's a very amazing thing because you also meet people who have similar passions as you, and you can really like, I feel like if you have a team, you can really spread out your impact, and that is even better for like the overall community as well. So, can you share any of your sustainability projects that you're currently working on, or like civic engagement projects that you're working on, or also if they like, or the ones that you've worked on in the past?
Yeah, of course. So for civic engagement, me and my team, shout out the two bodies, we did like a kind of research thing for the office of Jonathan Wilkinson on like youth engagement in politics. I think we surveyed like 200 people, high school students, on like to figure out how we could get youth more involved. We presented that to the minister. I think it's really cool, and we're looking to hold more events based off the research. So that was really exciting. As for sustainability, I'm really pushing for climate literacy. I think that's the one thing that I am super, super passionate about. So I do daily climate news on my social media channels, which is really important to me. I've been doing that for, I don't know, it feels like quite a long time. I feel like, yeah, that's the main project I'm working on right now, writing and filming every single day.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that seems like a lot of work to do, but it's amazing that you're so passionate about these things. And what kind of got you into filming? Because I'm assuming the like social media are kind of like shorts or like reels, just like really short videos daily though, so that people can kind of look at it and be more like they know more about what's going on in the world currently. So like, how did you kind of like why did you choose really that pathway to reach out to your audience?
Mhm. So I have a bit of a history with social media because I started it when I was really young and I got to see the benefits of, building a community through social media. So I can definitely see a lot of its benefits. And I also think that, like, I talk to my friends a lot and they're like, one of the main ways I consume news or like get update on like anything is through social media. And I can feel that in my personal life now that we've like talked about it. And so I think there's a real lack of just like positive, sustainable news right now. Everything's so pessimistic. And I want to do my part in combating that. And I think social media is the best way.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like in like social media especially there is kind of that negative and positive imbalance in it, and a lot of people believe there is negatives towards it, but it's amazing that you're still trying to find the positive aspects out of social media and hopefully try to like change it a little bit towards the more positive end so that people can actually learn from it rather than be hindered by it. So yeah, that's great. And for like going into more specifics about your projects, so what impact have you really seen, like tangible impact have you seen from your projects in your community or beyond as well? And if you could just go into more detail about that, that would be great.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think for right now, the research project we're working on, we've just been summarizing the results. We're not doing like tangible events yet, but that's something the constituency is looking to do for the year ahead to pull something like large scale, which I'm super excited for. As for like social media stuff, I think like I guess like I don't like to frame like success based off of numbers, right? But I see like impact and making when like people message me and be like, oh my god, I'm starting to eat vegetarian because of your news update, or like we're looking to get like electric vehicles or like install solar panels. Is all very encouraging. So I think that's definitely like the highlight of doing social media, and that's where I see the most impact, like engaging with people and seeing them like making changes in their daily life.
I loved how you said that you don't really like to look at the numbers, but rather about how people respond to your work, because I think that's the most important thing as well. Like, I feel like the numbers can only go so far, but when you actually have people who like message you, just like you said, about how they really enjoy the work that you're doing, I feel like that's a very fulfilling comment to have after, like, of course, you put a lot of work into what you're doing, right? And time as well, and effort. So I think that should be something that you're very proud of, and I feel like that's amazing as well. And it's also something very unique because I feel like not many teenagers can take that time out of their day and stay committed to something for so long, because you do it on the daily. So yeah, that's something great to hear. And like you do talk about like how you, so for these shorts and these reels, like how do you educate yourself personally about these topics like sustainability and civic engagement? And how do you also encourage others, like other teenagers like ourselves, to become more aware of these issues such as environmental, global, climate?
So I'm definitely not like an expert on any of these issues, right? I've got so much more to learn. But the one of the biggest ways I keep up with news is I have the New York Times app downloaded, like the audio one that really helps. I listen to the daily, but also I have a Google alert for like the climate news. Like Google sends me an email at like 9 o'clock every single day with like 10 climate news that you have to look out for. So that's really helpful, like getting this curated, updated list, but also like try and I don't know, Google like climate news every single day so I stay informed. And I also do that for like the upcoming provincial election and the federal election this year, and obviously like this crazy stuff that's going on with the US. I think to like encourage other young people to like, I don't know, be more conscious of the news, I try and list like different resources so they can stay informed, because I'm definitely like not the only medium and maybe not even the most qualified one, right? So I want them to also seek out their own resources. So the stuff I mentioned before are like really good outlets for news.
Yeah, that's great. I think that I really love how you talked about how you also branch out to other sources as well, and you allow other people to also reach out so they not only look at your content, but also they can, if they really want to learn more about it, they delve into more like probably people who are more professional or maybe news anchors. And yeah, I also really like how you talked about the Google search thing because myself too, I have like those notifications, like the daily news things. So like it's very easy and it's very accessible as well. And then you just kind of get curious because there's the topic, like the headline is very engaging sometimes and you just want to like click on it and learn more. So yeah, that's great. And I feel like a lot of teenagers should probably have that down because they're going to go into the real life soon and like the real world once they graduate high school, and they're going to have to kind of manage like university life, plus if like the economy changes and like the political status of where they're living changes as well. I think that's very important. So like you talked a bit about like learning more from these news places as well as from just staying active on like Google search, just searching up about the climate news and etc. So what role do you think that education plays in promoting these sustainable practices amongst like your peers, your friends, or your community?
I think education is one of, if not the most important thing for like a sustainable future, right? Because education means awareness. I think education means that we're finally like giving kids the tools to do stuff about their future. It's equipping them with like, you know, skill sets, which is so important if they want to like, you know, hit the 2030 goals, right? Because if people don't know about the things that's been happening to the environment, to like people, then they're never going to do anything tangible about it, which is very concerning. Like we don't have a sustainable curriculum set up in BC right now, especially in like elementary school where like kids should like start learning about these things, not a recognized science, at least not where like when I went through elementary school, or even like the first maybe 2 years of secondary school, which is very concerning to me. So I definitely think there should be an integration into curriculum.
Yeah, that I totally agree with that as well. I think there's definitely missing aspects currently in the BC curriculum, maybe in Canada as a whole as well. And I feel like that definitely needs to be looked at because I feel like it's very me myself as well. I think education is also one of the most important things in like one's life, and I think it really provides like the backbone and like the framework for how you're gonna like flourish later on in your future as well. So yeah, and so we've been talking a lot about like youth engagement as a whole and just for youth and teenagers, but there is like kind of the stigma against like having youth being that engaged in the community in the way that they kind of overpower the adults as well. So have you found that your age has been an advantage or rather a challenge in civic activism? And if it is a challenge, how do you really navigate that?
So yeah, that's a really good question. It's very complicated, the issue with youth and like politics. A lot of politicians, they want young volunteers. The younger the better, even for photo ops. I could feel that very viscerally as a kid, just being shoved in front of the camera for the photos, not being like offered to do actual work. So I think they want the image that they're promoting, like, you know, youth engagement, right? There's some really great politicians out offering youth opportunities. I'm not doubting that. I felt like amazing. There's been amazing people who I've mentored through, but I think a large number that just wanted to know, showed up, just because they're concerning for you. So I feel like there are definite barriers to like young people actually engaging with the civic process, as in like helping to do research or even like just getting out and meeting people. So I definitely feels like, yeah, that should be addressed because young people are often so doubted by like older folks because we're perceived as lacking of ability or even like passion or just intelligence, which is not great. So the system needs to change, but there's really good people out there who are willing to offer young people work. So it really just depends.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I feel like people usually overlook youth as well just because we do lack experience in the world, but it doesn't mean we're completely like not knowledgeable. Like we do, like if someone is as passionate, for example, as you are, and they really want to engage in the community, I feel like there should be opportunities available for that, especially since there's already many teenagers who are interested in this field. So yeah, that's amazing that you also talk a bit about both sides of that. But like, what advice in general would you give to other teenagers who really want to get involved in civic issues, but they don't really know where to start, or they also can't really find opportunities to start? What advice would you give them then?
I think first of all, email your local representative. I think there's like basically a youth constituency council set up like in every constituency, whether that be on the provincial or federal level. So wherever you are, reach out to them. If they don't have a youth council, ask them to form one. I think most politicians are super like into that. So yeah, I think that one of the best way you get to be your representatives, but also you get to do like work and events and research. So it's a cool opportunity, and you get to meet a lot of cool people who have similar or different passions than you.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like people who are definitely interested in this should just reach out, try to like email a few people or apply to a few spots, because I feel like if you don't shoot your shot, you might never be able to have this opportunity. And they should definitely just try it out if they are interested in it. And I think you talked about a lot of the positives, so hopefully if they listen to this, they might be more encouraged to join in these activities. So yeah, that's great. And in general, like moving back to what your future goals are, so what are your like goals in the coming future related to sustainability and civic engagement, and like where do you kind of see yourself in a few years in this field?
Something I'm super passionate about is like pushing for integration of sustainability into like primary school curriculums. So hopefully, like in 10 years, that'll come to fruition, and I hope I'll be like a part of that. So that's something I'm definitely super like passionate about. Like thinking of like even shorter term, I want to like major in poli-sci in university. Hopefully, meet more people who can help me like support these projects, especially with environmental literacy. And then super long term, I really want to do politics, like the whole electoral process, be a candidate in the future. So hopefully one day you'll vote for me.
Yeah, definitely I will if I know you already, right? I think, yeah, you have like your future pretty planned out. Like that's amazing that you kind of already know what you're really passionate about and what you even want to go into for university and and then on as well. Yeah, that's amazing that you know that. I think for me, I didn't know what I wanted to do until like literally this year. I was still like undecided about what I really was interested in, but yeah, I decided I'm going into business, like kind of the finance route for university. But yeah, that's amazing that you like are already so planned out with your life. And also something interesting that I just like thought on the top of my head was that, like, for example, I met a few friends at a summer program that I was a part of, and it was like a business orientated one, but there were still so many people who were interested in politics, and like people who were telling me that they are undecided between poli-sci or like the business route. And yeah, I just found that was interesting that there is still such a connectivity between these two subjects, and that a lot of teenagers and youth are still interested in this. But kind of just to conclude today's podcast, from giving so much information about yourself, your background, and also a few details about your work as well, if you could just share how like listeners themselves, sorry, how listeners who are listening to this podcast right now and are interested in this field, how could they really what would you encourage them to do if they could take one action towards sustainability or civic engagement today?
Ooh, okay. Let's say, for civic engagement, if you're in BC, we have a provincial election coming up, so definitely go participate. The situation's pretty dire, the polls are really close. So it doesn't matter which party you support, go out and volunteer and engage, because a lot is on, like, yeah, there's a lot on stakes right now. really scary, but very exciting nonetheless. And for sustainability, I had an argument with my mom about this, but like, if you can eat less meat, it's like the best way you can, decrease your CO2 emissions. Don't listen to your mother. It's not bad for your health. The reason why you have a cold right now is not because you're not eating meat. It's because you have too much sugar, probably. At least that's for my case. So if you really want to do like work towards sustainability, like just, you don't need to cut meat entirely, just eat less of it. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's amazing.
I always have like sugar. That's...
Wow, that's amazing. I think because like we both come from like an Asian background, like there is like that strong incentive to like you gotta eat meat, or like there's always meat in every dish. So yeah, I can understand why you got into an argument with your mom for that, because I think if I told my parents I was gonna cut down meat, they would probably like yell at me to eat more meat as well. So yeah, but yeah.
My mom was so mad.
But yeah, that's really funny. And yeah, so I think we kind of touched base on literally everything today. I think that can conclude our podcast as well. So thank you, Lily, so much for coming in today and just providing so much of your experience, insights, and your advice as well for the listeners who are interested in this topic. And yeah, personally, I also kind of am interested now because I never really thought I was politically orientated or I could be interested in this, but I think I should probably start engaging more in this realm and probably learn more about this and probably research more on the news as well. So yeah, thank you so much for both inspiring me as well and probably a lot of the listeners today. So thank you so much for coming today. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, I stopped recording now. Let me just click.
Okay.